Hey guys, this is Seth with Film School Secrets, and in this video I'm going to go over my blog post, 10 black and white movies every aspiring filmmaker should see. If you dream of making movies for a living, you should start by watching black and white movies. And why is that? It's very simple. It's because today, most new filmmakers are completely distracted by all the technology that's out there. We all know Hollywood makes plenty of movies that they look great, but they have shitty stories and they're painful to watch, even though they might have great lighting and special effects. Now, in film school, students pay 40 grand a year for the honor of sitting in a lecture hall and having a professor press play on a DVD player and watching classics and then writing long-winded papers on what they've seen. And you should watch these movies not to have a theoretical discussion or talk about themes and motifs and that crap, but to help your filmmaking skills. So you want to take advantage of your limitations. Now, as a new filmmaker, you have more in common with the film directors from the 40s and the 50s than with Spielberg or with Fincher. And it's because you don't have a huge budget to blow. You need to be smart with your camera and make a compelling story first. Movies made 50 years ago, they moved slower. They were often like film stage plays, and they required a compelling story. So look at the following movies as an inspiration of what can be accomplished without blowing shit up or fancy camera work, but with great imagination, writing, and dialogue. So number one is The Killing, and this is one of Stanley Kubrick's early films. The movie has been said to influence Reservoir Dogs and other crime, robbery, caper dramas. It has a tense plot, great performances by Sterling Hayden, who also starred in Doctor Strangelove and was the police chief in The Godfather. Now, the trailer, like most trailers, is a little bit old, but I still feel this one stands the test of time. Listen to the crackling dialogue. And go ahead, click the link below this video to see this blog post where all the videos are embedded. Number two is The Lady Vanishes from 1938. Now this is early Hitchcock, released in like I said, in the 30s. And trains were a big deal back in the day, and a lot of movies took place on them. Now this is an intriguing story. There's a tourist on the train. She meets an old woman, and then the next day the woman has vanished. But the thing is, all the other guests insist that she was never there. It's riveting and actually quite funny and shows you what you can do with a simple premise. Number three is Some Like It Hot from 1959. Now, would you believe a movie shot in 1959 and set in 1929 could be laugh out loud, laugh my ass off, roll on the floor, funny? This is one of Marilyn Monroe's movies, and not only is she charming as hell, she's actually really funny as well. The premise is two schlubs are on the run from the mob, and they hide out in an all-women's band dressed as women. And this is the precursor to Mrs. Doubtfire and a million other guy dresses up like a woman comedies, but it's the original. So check out the final scene of the movie, and I guess it's a spoiler technically, because I think it's so damn funny. One character who's been playing the ruse of being a chick the whole movie is now engaged to the other guy, and he's trying to get out of it. Number four, The Exterminating Angel, El Ángel Exterminador. Spanish filmmaker Luis Buñuel, and I think Buñuel is really the Quentin Tarantino of his day. His movies always piss people off, and they sometimes shock people, and they were confounding to audiences. But in The Exterminating Angel, it's about a bunch of uppity, upper-class folks who have a dinner party, and they can't leave the house. It's freaking weird. There's no special effects or monsters or spirits, just every time they go to walk out of the door, they faint or they have a seizure. And they're stuck in the house for like days. It's really creepy, it's weird, it's political. And I think it's a very interesting movie and shows what you can do with a bunch of people in one location. Number five, Psycho, 1960. Back to Hitchcock. Now, Psycho is a must-see, not only because it's considered a classic of cinema, but the story behind it is amazing. Hitchcock couldn't get a green light from the studio, so he bankrolled it himself and shot it with a skeleton TV crew in record time. And it was basically a low-budget indie. And of course, it features a heroine that gets killed off halfway through the movie and some of the creepiest murder scenes ever. But what's more interesting is how Hitchcock got people to see the movie and keep the secret of the ending. And you can check it out in the video that's embedded in the blog post. Number six, Le Diabolique, 1955. Now, everyone's heard of Psycho, but many people don't know about this French classic made 5 years earlier. Now, while Psycho features a famous shower murder scene, Diabolique features one of the most chilling scenes ever in a bathtub. Now, the movie's about a wife and a mistress who plot to murder the man of their mutual affection, who they both hate. And the legend has it that after Psycho came out, Hitchcock received a letter from an angry parent who wrote, my daughter saw Diabolique, and since then she's been afraid to take a bath. Now she's seen Psycho, and she's afraid to take a shower. What should I do? And Hitchcock is supposed to have said, have her dry cleaned, which is his typical sense of humor. Anyway, this movie will make you climb up the wall. Diabolique. And I think that's available on the Criterion Collection on Hulu. Number 7, Strangers on a Train, 1951. Now, back to Hitchcock one last time. Now, this movie has so many classic elements, starting with the opening sequence, which focuses on characters' shoes, which you can see. And it goes all the way to the famous line, crisscross, crisscross. The premise is simple, but it's so clever. Relatively famous tennis star meets a psychopath on a train. They talk, and it's revealed that each of them has someone in their lives that they would like dead. Well, the crazy dude proposes that they, quote, swap murders, as they would have an alibi and no motive for doing the other person's murder. The tennis pro thinks it's a joke. Of course, it isn't. People get killed, and it's got a really, really suspenseful ending involving a tennis match, which is actually really cool. Number 8. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, 1966. Now, Edward Albee was a crazy, brilliant playwright, and his play, The Zoo Story, makes an interaction on a park bench between two strangers riveting. This play, The Zoo Story, is just two people talking on a park bench for 2 hours, and it's amazing. Now, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is based on his play of the same name, and he somehow makes a dinner party with 4 people incredibly compelling. It doesn't hurt that he's got Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton as his leads. But the way the movie builds tension between these characters is worth studying. It's visceral. You cringe from moment one. You check out the sample scene in the blog post. And number 9, 12 Angry Men, 1957. It's another movie based on a play. The entire movie takes place in one room, a jury room to be exact, but it's riveting from start to finish. You've got George C. Scott, Jack Klugman, Henry Fonda, and a slew of other incredible supporting actors too. And it's about a jury debating the fate of a lower-class man accused of murder. And at first, everyone, of course, thinks he's guilty, but one man, Fonda, thinks they should dig deeper and really think about it. And here's a scene from that one, if you click on the post. And then, number 10, The Third Man, 1949. Directed by Carol Reed, co-starring Orson Welles, and based on a novel by Graham Greene. This noir classic, it's about an American novelist who travels to Europe to receive an award, supposedly, but he also is there to investigate the mysterious death of his old friend Harry Lime, played by Wells. And it features a classic score, some amazing shots, and a chase scene in the sewers of Vienna that looks awesome. And, there's plenty more movies we could talk about, but start with these 10 and start training your brain to take advantage of your limitations, focusing on plot, character, and dialogue instead of fancy camera moves to make your movies great. This is Seth with Film School Secrets, reminding you don't need film school to make movies and have a directing career.